evening, everybody. I declare the meeting open and announce that we are live streaming and recording in accordance with the City's live stream and recording council meeting policy. I'd like to acknowledge that we meet here on the land of the Noongar people and pay our respects to their elders past and present. And I call upon Councillor Rouse to read the dedication.
Thank you, Your Worship. May we, the elected members of the City of Kwinana, have the wisdom to consider all matters before us with due consideration, integrity and respect for the Council Chamber. May the decisions made be in good faith and always in the best interests of the greater Kwinana community that we serve.
Thank you. We have one leave of absence, and that is from Councillor Barry Windmar. We have no members of the public in attendance. We have no petitions. There is nothing in item 6.2, 6.3. We have confirmation of minutes from the meeting held on the 10th of August. Somebody like to move the minutes, or are there any questions arising from those minutes? If not, moved Councillor Estwood, seconded Councillor Kearney. All in favour? Against? So carried. Item 7.2 are the minutes of the special council meeting held on the 17th of August. Are there any questions arising from the special council meeting minutes? If not, we have a recommendation. Moved Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Wood. All in favour? Against? So carried. Are there any declarations of interest? Nil. Requests for leave of absence. I actually seek to amend the dates that I had previously advised for my leave of absence, and if I may, take my leave of absence from, it'll be the 15th of September through to the 26th of September, inclusive of that date. So from the 15th to the 26th. Are there any other leave of absence? If not, would somebody like to move that way? Thank you. Move Councillor Rouse, seconded to Councillor Wood. All in favour? Against? So carried. There is no items to be considered from item 10 through to item 17. Item 18.1 are our accounts for payment for the month ending 31st of July. Are there any questions in relation to any of those accounts? And do note they've been formatted a lot easier. If there's no questions, we have a recommendation. Moved Councillor Rouse, seconded Councillor Brown. Councillor Rouse, do you wish to speak on the item?
No, thank you.
Councillor Brown? No, anybody wish to speak against? I shall put it to the vote. All in favour? Against? So carried. Item 18.2 is repeal the Town of Kwinana bylaws relating to signs and bill posting. Are there any questions? If not, we have a recommendation. So do I read that first? Yeah, sorry, I'm reading the officers. Yep. So that council resolved that the presiding member read aloud the City of Kwinana repeal Local Law 2022 purpose and effect. A, the purpose of the local law is to repeal an obsolete bylaw. B, the effect of the proposed law is to repeal the Town of Kwinana bylaw relating to signs and bill postings as published in the Government Gazette on the 13th of May 1983. 2. Adopt the City of Kwinana Repeal Local Law 2022 at Attachment A. 3. Cause the City of Kwinana Repeal Local Law 2002 to be published in the Government Gazette and provide a local public notice stating the purpose and effect of the local law, when the local law will come into operation, and that copies are available for public inspection. And 4. Authorise the Chief Executive Officer and Mayor to complete and then sign the explanatory memorandum and statutory procedures checklists of the process used for the adoption of the local laws. So would somebody like to move that way? Move Deputy Mayor, seconded to Councillor S. Wood. Deputy Mayor, do you wish to speak on the item? No. Councillor Wood. Anybody wish to speak against? I shall put it to the vote. All in favour? Against? So carried. Okay. Item 18.3 is an amendment to the Register of Delegated Authority for 2021-22. Are there any questions from those delegations?
Yes, Your Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
My question's in relation to item number 2, in regards to, I guess, the limitations or the restrictions put around the administrative changes without council approval. So in the officer recommendation, it says limited to formatting, typographical errors and the like. I know in the discussion, those restrictions are fleshed out a little more to include things like where they do not produce a new interpretation of the delegation. Is it the city's intention that the meanings of both of those are the same, or they'll be applied in the same manner? That with that wording, where they do not produce a new interpretation of the delegation would be, are they the same thing in the city's view?
I'll ask CEO to answer, or the relevant officer.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. That's correct. So it's basically limiting it to when there's not when there's no change in the like of the delegation. So it really is sort of limiting it to formatting, typographical errors and that. So it's not changing the delegation per se.
It would just, as my understanding is, if you'd have to keep bringing it back to council every time you picked up a typographical error. So this means it broadens it and allows the officers to do that. Do you have a supplementary question? You've got that questioning look about you. This is your opportunity.
Just follow-up question. In the instance of those administrative changes being made, would there be a notification mechanism to let us know that, I guess, that document is now different to what we previously saw?
Through you, Madam Chair, that wasn't the intention, because it could be just as simple as an incorrect spelling of a word. So we don't see that there would be a need to do that. It would only be coming back if there was a change to delegation, which would be a council paper. And bear in mind, this is an internal delegation.
Anything arise? Thank you. We have a recommendation. Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor S. Wood. Deputy Mayor? No. Councillor S. Wood?
Yes, I'd just like to applaud the way it was set out, and it was such an easy document to read. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wish to speak against? I shall put it to the vote. All in favour? Against? So carried. 18.4 is proposed disposition by way of a lease for a council room 2 and the offices at 4 to 7 within the Zone Youth Centre on Skern Street, Kwinana, to Therapy Focus. Is there any additional information? And do note there was a confidential item with this item. If not, move Deputy Mayor.
Excuse me, Worship, just have a question, please.
Oh, thank you. We'll just.
Sorry, you Deputy Mayor. Yeah, thanks. It just says the city proposes an initial lease duration of only 1 year with a further option to extend by a further year. This will allow the city time to assess the most appropriate long-term use of the space going forward. Is that assessment likely to be concluded within the next 12 months?
Yeah, so the team have been tasked with that assessment and work with Therapy Focus on their longer term use of that facility. I suppose we're doing that in regards to, is the zone the appropriate space for them at this point in time? We want to attract other youth services and mental health services to that facility.
Thank you. So the item has been moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Rouse. Deputy Mayor, do you wish to speak on the item? Councillor Rouse? No, anybody wish to speak against? If not, I shall put it to the vote. All in favour? Against? So carried. And there's nothing on item 19, 20 or 21. Item 22, reports of elected members. Deputy Mayor. Councillor Dennis Wood. Councillor Matthew Rouse.
Your Worship, thank you. Just last Monday on the 22nd of August, I along with yourself attended online the Joint Development Assessment Panel to consider the development application for the Childcare Centre on Berthold Street, Aurelia. The elected members have been made aware of the outcomes of that meeting. So thank you, Your Worship.
Great, thank you. Councillor Brown.
Yes, Your Worship. So recently it was a real privilege to join my fellow councillors and city representatives at the Zone Youth Centre, where we met our Youth Advisory Council, also known as the YAC, and they gave us a presentation around their experiences as youth in the city of Kwinana and how they would like to engage this council moving forward. I have to really commend the YAC for their confidence in how they presented to us. I know when I was their age, I don't think I could have done it so eloquently. And as well as for being open about their ideas for the city and how they would like to engage this council moving forward. And on that note, I'm really looking forward to seeing, I guess, where this journey takes us between this council and the Youth Advisory Council. And last night, I also attended the Save Our Snake Neck Turtle Information Night at the Wandi Pavilion, where we heard from City of Kwinana representatives and Murdoch University PhD candidate Anthony Santaro about a project to monitor and protect these turtles within City of Kwinana managed wetlands and the broader community. I think this is a really great opportunity for our residents to get involved in citizen science and conservation, and the city is currently calling for volunteers to take part during a 6-week period where residents would be organised into groups to use a smartphone app to monitor and track these turtles as they move about to nest, and also play a role in protecting the baby turtles from predators. So I encourage anyone that is interested, either in this chamber or listening at home, to reach out to the city if they would like to take part. Thank you.
Sorry, Councillor Brown, with the turtles, is it in the Bollard Bulrush area, or is mainly the Maginup wetland area?
I know there was one specific area that the city was designating for this
Right.
project. I would have to defer
That's
to
okay.
the exact one though, sorry.
Thank you. Councillor Estwood.
I also attended the zone and met the young children who were YAC representatives. It was really great to see such confident, well-spoken youth in our area. I won't say much more because Councillor Brown actually filled that all in. The other thing that Councillor Wood and I attended was the Environmental Forum, where the same fellow gave a talk about the long-necked turtles or tortoises, I get muddled up, whatever, and that they're heading towards to be endangered. There's more males than females, mainly because the females are heading out to lay their eggs, getting run over by cars, taken by predators. Their eggs are being eaten and by predators and so on, and it's very sad. But the Environmental Forum's managed to get a grant to help the fellow, I can't think what his name was.
Oh,
Anthony, who was very competent, to set up experiments where they're tagging the turtles, and they are also setting up netting, but quite large, strong netting over areas where the females are actually laying their eggs to try to protect the females and the eggs. They're doing lots of things, and it's really great that we've been given a grant. The other thing was we had a very quick SWEPDEF meeting where really the only thing on the agenda was the position of Treasurer, and Councillor Duncan McPhail from the City of Melville was voted in unopposed. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Councillor Kearney. Thank you. There's nothing in item 23. Mayoral announcements. I've happy to table, just draw upon a couple of matters. The CEO and I attended a walk around of the Costco construction site or the building last Monday. It's certainly well underway. I think there's 8 sections with the concreting inside, and I think they were halfway through when we were there. Electrical's well underway, but like many businesses at this time of the year having trouble with workers, but I understand they will hopefully be trying to have the store open for December, if not before. and the petrol station around October, November. And I was quite amazed when talking to Mr. Poley, who is the chairman of the Aigle Royal Group, who's the owner of the site, that Costco footprint is only 10% of that entire site. And you don't realise the scale of it until you're actually there on the ground, so it's going to be huge. This afternoon, Mr. Fisher and I participated in the inaugural meeting of the Thomas Road Duplication and Safety Improvement Project Safety Public Art Selection Panel. That's quite a big acronym to make out of that one, wouldn't it? Where a short list of artists were assessed by the panel following an expression of interest process undertaken by the consultants Element. So this is for the very huge roundabout on Thomas Road. The scale of that roundabout, as you're probably aware, would be in line with the size of the roundabout at Manjagordup going into Mandurah. And so there's been an expression of interest go out for public art, which is part of the commitment there, and I think there's a $500,000 grant, so there's quite a few artists who have put in an expression interest, and the group shortlisted some artists to go forward, and we look forward to briefing you on that as the process goes through. The CEO and I attended a meeting with Minister Bill Johnson in his capacity of Industrial Relations Minister to discuss the city's concerns in relation to the WA local government transitioning from the federal industrial relations system to the state industrial relations system. It was actually a very good and informative meeting with Minister Johnson, and I think we were able to make the point that the city's not against the WA jurisdiction in the details of change, but the application of the change, if it's made and still many of the antiquated clauses in the State Industrial Commission remain, then that could have a negative impact on many areas of wards and agreements for local government. Were you going to say anything different?
Just put the word relations in.
What did I say? Is it a typo?
No, just it.
Okay, thank you. And again with Councillor Rouse, we attended the Metropolitan Outer Joint Development Assessment Panel. The panel met to decide on whether to approve a new childcare centre in Berthold Street, which the city had recommended at a recent council meeting to refuse based on the Responsible Authority report submitted by the city officers. And after hearing arguments from both the proponent and the city officers and questions from various panel members, the panel voted 3-2 to refuse the application. And Councillor Dennis Wood and I were in attendance at the Vietnam Day, the Vietnam Veterans Day, which is the 60th anniversary of the Australian involvement of the Vietnam War, and it was my privilege to lay a wreath on behalf of the city of Kwinana. And on Saturday night I attended the Rockingham Kwinana Mineral Resources Chamber of Commerce Regional Business Awards, and it was wonderful to see that we had 3 finalists in those awards from the city of Kwinana. They were small businesses, and 2 of those nominees were successful. So it was congratulations to Wellard resident Emma Fogg, who was announced the winner of the 2002 Startup Business Award, which was sponsored by the city of Kwinana, and I've given a brief blurb on what Emma does and why is our tuition. And also a name that would be very familiar to us all, Denise Davis, the winner of the Solo Business of the Year for her business High Tea with Harriet, who has been able to cater and provide her special teas at several functions that the city has held, and also David Ukrich from KRC IT Solutions, who is also nominated a finalist. I would like to pass on my thanks to Warwick Carter and Ivy Penny, who are obviously our economic development team, who've worked really hard with many small businesses in the city of Kwinana to engage with them and have them know more about the council processes, and again council also through a grant for the Small Business Centre are able to do programs with the staff on how better to engage with our small businesses and make the process a little bit more streamlined for them. But I think there were 3 really great nominees, and it was really good to see Team Kwinana get 2 out of 3 on the night, so it was good. They are my announcements, the rest I will table. Happy to take any questions on that now or afterwards. And if not, there are no confidential items, and therefore I thank you for your attendance and close the meeting at 5:48. Thank you.